Let us make cake for the very first time. So I added 250 grams of butter to my container. Then I went ahead to add sugar. Then I did not put the whole quantity because I thought it was going to be too much. They said we should stir. I was stirring, stir. My hand was spinning me. At this point, I got to this consistency and I knew I wasn't there. Yes, I was almost there. I kept on stirring and switching until I got to this consistency. Then I went ahead to add my vanilla extract. I don't have measurement of these things I am doing. I'm just using my head and my brain to do all this stuff. When I had to crack one of the eggs, I added stir to incorporate everything together. Yes, in this mixture I used 4 eggs. Then so I was adding them one by one. I added the first one, I stirred. The second one, I stirred. I was already tired at this point or more. This is not an easy job. So I added the third, and guys, when I added the last egg, I saw that the mixture was like this. I was scared. So bakers in the house, what will probably make the mixture to be like this? Because I was so confused and angry at the same time. I almost gave up at this point, but I decided to just trust the process. Then I went ahead to add my flour bit by bit. I added the first one, I stirred it very well, went ahead with the second one. I went ahead to add my baking powder at this point. Yeah, I was so tired and I was confused. Then I added a pinch of salt. Here, this was the quantity I added. So I went ahead to mix my powdered milk in water. Then I added it again. Yes, in this point now it was a bit watery. I had to add extra flour to this mixture. Then I kept on stirring until I got this consistency I was looking for. So I went ahead to put salt to my pot because yes, so this is what we are going to be using. We don't have an oven. We are going to be using what we have. Then I had to grease my pan with the butter. Then I asked Mercy to give me a sheet of paper from her school books. Then this was what we have. I had to put it bit by bit because I was not sure if the thing was going to swallow, if it was going to fill the pan so or this not. Was what we had, and guys, I checked it the first time and this was what we had. I had to use a table knife to check it, and I thought maybe it was not yet ready. I allow it again to cook for a while, a bit to bake for a while, and guys, this is what we have here. Hey, somebody shout power! Bonbon cake. Oh God, I beg. Anyways, I was not too feeling bad any longer again because for me, I think this is a milestone. I have tried this thing I've been wishing to try for a very long time. I had to remove the pepper, and this was our bonbon cake. And yes, funnily enough, it came out actually yummy because my husband and Mercy ate it. They said it was really delicious. So please, if you're a baker, what really caused this cake to get burnt like this? Or is it because I allowed it for a very long time? Because I actually baked this for 1 hour. Yes, I set a timer for it for 1 hour exactly. So what was my mistake? I really want your corrections. And what did I not add that I was supposed to add?